I don't want to be anywhere but right here. This is heaven. This is everything I ever wanted in my. We talk about before we go to sleep at night. And money wouldn't make me change, because money is the least of the important things. And yet, people keep dumping buckets of money on me. And I can't do nothing about that, but I don't care about it. Well, this was a real good place to raise children, and Marion did it spectacular. They all could get along by themselves. They didn't need help. They get on a horse and ride out across the back and up over the hill, and we didn't care. They'll come back eventually. Some parents would be scared to death. It's a different situation here. They learn to drive tractors real early. Our John Deere had a hand clutch, not a foot clutch, a hand clutch. And Skipper went turning around at the end. He could drive a regular tractor. And he got in a bind, and boom, his mind exploded, and he couldn't remember it had a hand clutch. He tore the trailer all to hell. He screwed the tractor up. We got it fixed. And we're screaming at him, pull the clutch, pull the clutch. He don't understand. And it was fun, but it was also costly. They run over Grandma Hayen, and they run over her, and she was laying on the ground under the hay trailer. And Kevin says, I'll go get the, and I said, get a camera. We want to get a picture of Mom laying under the hay trailer. She was in a crease, and the tire was going south, so it wasn't on her. But it looked like it was on her. And we got a picture of her laying under the trailer. But I thought maybe they'd kill me for not getting as excited about it as they were. It was fun. This was the right thing to do. We did the right thing. Them being here, they brag about it. This is identical to when they went to school as little kids, and that's 50-some years ago. We moved here in '68.
That was the first time you moved here, yeah?
Yeah.
With the boys.
And bought the place and everything. And then I worked out there 12 years, and then when Reagan fired the strikers, the Denver chief called me and asked me if I'd come back to work. Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah. He said, can you be here in the morning? I said, oh, you bet. Called Marion and said, we're going back to Denver. And had the good sense not to sell this. And went back over. And to qualify retirement-wise, I think it takes 4 years. Mm-hmm. And I went from a retirement of nothing to huge retirement, because they give me a GS-14. The Postmaster General of the country ain't a 14. So, and we bought a farm over there, sold it when we left for just what we paid for.
Yeah, I remember that place.
Huh?
I remember that place.
Do you?
Yeah, definitely.
And that was nice. And I enjoyed going back over and working. And I was the only one they called back of the old timers. All 4 of my ex-chiefs didn't make the training program. And they took me down and said, we got to see if you can talk to airplanes, Layne. I probably knew as much when I was a freshman as I got in the rest of the school because I didn't take hard courses. I wasn't striving for anything. I didn't want to be a college student. And it all come together and worked out perfect. I was an air traffic controller. Boy, did they overpay me.
Yeah.
When I hired on with the FAA, you had to go to the air traffic controller school in Oklahoma City. You had to do that. And you were hired as a 6. They hired me as a GS7, and I didn't have to go to the school in Oklahoma City, and sent me to Denver, one of the 4 busiest airports in the United States. And I made it. A little bit of politics, a little bit of ability. I liked it. I think I did have the Navy tower time in Atlantic City, and that helped them. But I never went to the school. I don't even know what that school is. Air traffic controllers are a bunch of dumb son of a bitches, and you put a sharp person in there with them, and they don't like that. When I worked with the dumbest people in the employment deal, but they could work airplanes. And that don't take any brains. It takes, in fact, the less you got, the better you do it. But it worked out, and I didn't have any goals along them lines. I didn't know that. But the only reason I was an air traffic controller is because the school, I was going to be a pilot. They said, you can't get married for 2 years. I said, then pull me out of the pilot ranks. I'm getting married. And then they said, where do you want to go? And I didn't know. And they said, what do you got? And air traffic control school, I could hitchhike home to see Marion. It was close enough. It was at Olathe, Kansas. So I went to air traffic, did not know what it was. Had no idea, but knew I could see her on weekends. And did it. It worked out. Life for me, has not been a planned thing. If I'd have went to college, I wouldn't have been shit. I don't think I could have graduated from college. I wouldn't have liked it. But that air traffic control school was fun. We had a good time. And then I got to go to Atlantic City. And that, we always laughed about that. That you go in the service, you ought to be out killing people. That's what I thought I would end up doing. And here I am in Atlantic City, one of the top gambling and theatrical places. It's a tourist. And the boardwalk at Atlantic City, they wrote songs about that. Yeah. But it was a good ride. And then when I got out, didn't have to go to air traffic control school, nothing, and got hired at a grade above everybody else. Air traffic control was that way. Never took it serious one time. But no big deal. And the people, I loved the people. And every once in a while you had somebody that was thought that this was a big deal. And everybody, even today, say it was hard to be an air traffic controller. I say bullshit. It was fun. It was screwing around all day. It was going home early and coming in late. nothing serious about air traffic control. The least serious goddamn government job there was.
And it's listed as one of the most stressful jobs in America.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Boy. That's not good, is it?
But you didn't find it stressful.
Oh, air traffic control? Hell, not one day. And we had a bunch of dumb sumbitches in the FAA. No high school education even. And I liked them. They were good buddies of mine. But they weren't smart. But you'd have to be smart to be an air traffic controller. The dumbest sumbitch in the world could be an air traffic controller. And I was the dumbest sumbitch in the world, and I was the air traffic controller. It was a easy job, kind of fun. When I come to work out here, a buddy I worked with in Denver transferred over, and they assigned me to training. So we're up there, and he's never been in Grand Junction Tire before or anything. He laid down, sat down in the chair and went to sleep, and I left and went to coffee. And the airplane's calling, woke him up, and when I go back, he says, "You son of a bitch." And I said, "You're an air traffic controller. You don't have to be checked out. Anybody could work this goddamn job." And whenever he has a party and stuff, we still get together. We're still best friends. He talks about that. He told everybody. He sat down and went to sleep his first day. And he's asleep, and I just went out and went over to coffee at the airport restaurant. Down there, when I go to get my exercise, I'll wear a pair of good boots, a different pair every week, and them guys love it because everybody that comes in there looks like shit. They're all old. Most of them aren't very young, but there's some young ones, but they just don't, nothing. And they come over and they talk about it. We have a good time. Where'd you get the boots? Last time he said, you got the best boot collection I ever seen. I said, yeah. Did you see the shirt I just bought?
Nope.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho. I got this for the nights when I go to the gay bar.
Those are colorful.
The gay man that I took it from put up a hell of a fight.
Are you sure those aren't for the rodeo clowns?
Huh?
Are you sure those aren't rodeo clown shirts?
Yeah, they could be. This one, I wore. I went to the Gay Pride Parade, the first one they ever had in Grand Junction. And I went down and screwed around and everything. And a grandma was there with her grandson. And she come over and she says, "I really hate to bother you, but," she says, "my grandson would like his picture taken with you. He was about 19 or 20, would like his picture taken with you." I said, "Sure, bring him over." And they come over and she got her camera and I hugged him up close. She took a picture, and when I let him go, he said, "You've ruined my reputation." I said, "You didn't do mine any good." And went over and stood on the street in this shirt. And the parade started by, and the top gay, was on a four-wheeler leading the parade. First parade we ever had. And he pulled the parade over and stopped right in front of me. He said, "We need to get some shirts like that. Where'd you get it?" I said, "Well, I think I got it Goodwill, but I don't know." I said, "I'll check it out." And the boys checked. Last one that was made in 1976, and they weren't available anymore. But I didn't know it was a gay shirt. I thought, God, that's a pretty shirt. the best thing we ever did. Our life has just been a wonderful. And farming, I thought I wanted a cow ranch. Said I got peaches. One year I made 100,000, and the cow people lost money every year. It was not a good financial situation. Peaches was spectacular. And I didn't pick it, it picked me. I didn't. And the guys at the tower said, "Oh, don't go out there. That's all a bunch of poor goddamn people. That's a lousy area. Go over on the Redlands." That was rich people living in rich homes, and still is. And I said, "No, I want to be in the agriculture area, and I like poor people better than I do wealthy people." And it just worked beautiful. Worked good for Mama. She hauled the boys. We had that Volkswagen pickup. She hauled the boys, and you had to travel a long way here. You had to go to Gunnison. You had to go to Nuclear Natarita to play ball, and she hauled them all there. And long trips with a truckload of kids, but she didn't. She could go anytime she wanted to. Women that work jobs don't have that available to them, participating with their children. She did. She's seen every ball game they ever did, every dance. She enjoyed it tremendously. And I think it made them different boys than they would have been without their mother's constant. And she didn't baby him because I told him, I said, "I'll kill you if you mess with her. I made you, and I can kill you and make two more just like you." And if she told them to do something, they did it. And that was one of the things that worked out real well. Because they were big boys, and she was a little bitty woman. And my life has been beautiful. The best thing I could ever imagine. Everything about it. Financially, we've always been pretty well off. For us, look, we're living in a 1,100 square foot house, 1 bathroom. If I had wanted to live in a great big house, and I asked her a lot of times, she said, "No, this is what I want right here." And that made me feel good, made her feel good, and we spent our whole life here. And if they offered me a mansion, I wouldn't take it. This is our mansion, and we love it. It was a good ride.